Hey guys, Liam here. Welcome back to another episode of MetroMania. MetroMania is a series where 16 teams of Pokemon duke it out to be named MetroMania Champion at the end of it if they're lucky enough to get that far, because the metronome giveth and the metronome taketh away. If you're a fan of MetroMania and you're ready for more, make sure you hit that like button. Show me enjoying the series. Let's go for 1,000 likes on this episode if we can. Hit subscribe if you're new so you never miss an episode. And of course, share this video with a friend. And of course, use code ACE to save yourself some money on G Fuel. This is the caffeine-free Blue Rocket Pop Hydration G Fuel. And it's bloody beautiful, so make sure you use code ACE to save yourself some dollar when you buy. We're getting close to the end of the heats. The quarterfinals are taking shape and are looking, ooh, so very, very nice. But of course, before we find out who is going through to the quarterfinals this week, we need to have a look at those all-important brackets. On the last episode of MetroMania, we said goodbye to Shedinja and Ninjask in a weird battle against Persian and Berserker where each team won a round because the other team made mistakes. It was very peculiar, but in the third round, Persian and Berserker were just too much for Shedinja and Ninjask and move on to the quarterfinals to face Heatmore and Durant. Quarterfinal 4 is the last one to be decided. We've got one position to fill this week as Escavalier and Accelgor take on Vileplume and Bellossom. So here we go, it's Escavalier and Accelgor versus Vileplume and Bellossom as everybody enters the field here. And this is going to be an interesting one. Not a lot of abilities to come into play here. Of course, Accelgor has Hydration, which is only effective in rain. We have Chlorophyll on both Bellossom and Vileplume. Here's Attack Order from Accelgor, which is Stab and super effective on Bellossom from the start. What a great starting play. Of course, Escavalier only has Swarm, which is a bit of a rubbish ability, to be honest. Here's Double Team, though, from Bellossom. Doesn't want to get hit again after that Attack Order. That was deadly. So smart play there by Bellossom, raising that evasiveness by one stage, and then over to Vileplume. What's Vileplume going to do here? It's going to go for Bind, avoided by Escavalier, so that's not going to be effective at all. And over to Escavalier, who's going to go for Tail Whip and lower the defense of which of its opponents here? Is Tail Whip on both? I can never remember. No, Bellossom avoided. It is on both. It is on both. As Vileplume's defense drops one stage, of course, that double team paying dividends for Bellossom. Of course, careful of Escavalier and its massive attack stat. Accelgor, though, is going to fire off with a Bulldoze, which isn't going to affect Bellossom because it's going to be avoided. It's going to hit Vileplume and Escavalier for a bit of not much damage there at all on Escavalier, but it does drop the speed. And then Vileplume took a little bit of chip damage there as well with the speed drop as well. Over to Bellossom now. Vileplume and Bellossom are quite interesting Pokemon. Oh, and a Tail Whip, turnabout is fair play, so that's going to drop the defense of Escavalier and of Accelgor by one stage apiece, because Vileplume and Bellossom basically have the same base stats, except Bellossom has 10 more special attack and Vileplume has the 10 more in its special defense. It's really weird. Very interesting choice of Pokemon. Obviously, they have the type difference as well. Sparkling Aria, though, from Escavalier, not very effective on the two grass types on the field, is going to do a decent chunk of damage there to Accelgor. So not the smartest to play there, but it dealt some damage. Any damage is better than no damage. They've got to try and get hits on that Bellossom where they can. Accelgor now getting geared up and ready to go. Accelgor's going to go for Moonlight and restore its HP back up by 50%. Not a bad play at all there. So there's the Moonlight taking effect, putting Accelgor back up to maximum. Great play there. Over to Bellossom for the next move in this turn of this Metronome battle. Goes for Guard Split. Interesting choice there. So it's going to go for Guard Split, and it's going to share its guard with the target. There you go. Vileplume with that Metronome. What's it going to choose here? Going to go for Supersonic. It's avoided by Accelgor, so another wasted move. Vileplume's not having the greatest plays here. Accelgor is going to go for Gust, which will be super effective, but Accelgor doesn't have much special attack, so not a lot of damage there to the big bulky Vileplume boy there. What's going to happen in this contest? This could really go either way, although Bellossom is still in a dangerous position, but it has that evasiveness advantage right now. Accelgor is going to go for Ember, which again will be super effective. Accelgor, of course, has a great special attack stat, I believe. Let me have a look. Its special attack is base 100, so great special attack. Over to Bellossom for Volt Tackle. Interesting choice of move there for Bellossom. Going to do a great chunk of damage there to Escavalier after that defense drop, paralyzing it as well. Big chunk of recoil damage though on that Volt Tackle, and now it's Vileplume's turn. What's Vileplume got in store? Going to go for Poison Sting. Doesn't affect Escavalier. Another wasted turn for Vileplume. Poor Vileplume is suffering right now with these failed turns. Here's Confusion on which Pokemon. It's going to be on Vileplume, so it will be super effective, but again, Escavalier's special attack stat just isn't suitable for any type of move. You just need to use physical attacks, my dude. Over to Accelgor, though, who is going to go for Explosion, which isn't going to do a lot of damage, I guess, to its Steel-type partner. How much damage is it going to do to the opposing team, though? Vileplume was in the danger zone, so was Bellossom. Takes them both down with it. Well done, Accelgor there, because Escavalier sitting pretty, didn't take much damage at all, even with the defense drop. Brilliant play there. It's in the danger zone, but doesn't have to worry because they've won this first round. So well done. Tactical explosions are a thing on the Escavalier and Accelgor team. That's something for future opponents to worry about if they make it that far, because, you know, we could see a 2-1 from Vileplume and Bellossom, but that is a very, very scary threat right there from Accelgor and Escavalier. If they make it through this, if Vileplume and Bellossom don't find a way to equalize and then capitalize, that could be dangerous going forward. So Vileplume and Bellossom really need to work hard to try and take this duo down for the future, basically, because nobody's going to want to face this team that can use these tactical explosions. Here we see Gravity coming from Vileplume. Going to increase the Gravity, which if anyone uses Grav Apple, I suppose that'll be, you know, that'll make for some interesting action. Here's Guard Swap, though, from Escavalier, so it's going to swap stat changes to defense and special defense with Vileplume, but I don't think any have happened, so that's not a great play there. Bit of a mistake, but that's the kind of mistake that Vileplume and Bellossom could capitalize on. So that could be the thing that propels Vileplume and Bellossom into the quarterfinals. And of course, next week we'll be finding out whoever wins this battle's opponent is going to be. So make sure you tune in for that. Facade from Accelgor, not doing a lot of damage there to Bellossom. Over to Vileplume for the next move, who is going to go for Struggle Bug, which is going to do some neutral damage to both to Accelgor, and then some not very effective damage to Escavalier, but going to drop the special attack of each of these Pokemon by one stage, which doesn't really make much of a difference to Escavalier, but does make a difference to Accelgor there. Over to Bellossom, who is going to go for Attack Order, which is what did so much damage to it in the previous battle. Not very effective, though, on Escavalier. Not going to do much damage there. Even with a crit, it didn't do much at all. So now it's Escavalier's turn. What will it do here? Has it got evil intentions? Going for Sludge Bomb. Is that going to be on? It's going to be on Bellossom, so it is super effective. But again, its special attack is so low, and it's at -1 special attack to boot. So not much damage done at all to Bellossom, and didn't get the poison. So very unfortunate play for Escavalier. Over to Accelgor, though, who's going to go for Noble Roar. It's going to cry out and raise, lower the attack stat, I believe, and special attack, I think, of Vileplume. Attack and special attack. That's what I thought. Well done, Liam. 10 points for Liam in the comments down below. Over to Bellossom, though, who's going to go for Gear Up. It is going to fail, though, so now Vileplume has to pick up the pieces. What will Vileplume do here? Going to go for Rain Dance. Interesting play. Rain Dance, the only thing Rain Dance will do is heal a status condition. If Accelgor gets a status condition, it'll get healed by its hydration ability. That's the only real impact Rain Dance is going to have here. Darkest Lariat, though, from Escavalier. Although I guess it reduces the power of fire-type moves, but that's also a weakness of Escavalier and Accelgor. A big weakness for Escavalier, so not the greatest of choices there. Of course, a decent chunk of damage done to Bellossom with that Darkest Lariat from Escavalier. Over to Accelgor, though, to start the next turn off with Acid, though, which is going to land on both Vileplume and Bellossom. Super effective on Bellossom, of course, bringing it into the danger zone. Bellossom not looking to be in much of a good position here. So what will Vileplume do in response? Going to go for Gear Grind onto which of these Pokemon? Onto the Escavalier there, so not very effective damage at all. Vileplume's attack stat is base 80, but Escavalier just so defensive, 105 base defense. Here's Bellossom, though, who's going to go for Screech. Going to lower the defense of Accelgor, not Escavalier. So Accelgor is in a very fragile position. In fact, Accelgor's defense is base 40. So now it's down 2 stages as well. Not good for physical attacks on Accelgor. Here's an Encore that's going to fail from Escavalier. So that gives the floor to Accelgor for the next turn. What will Accelgor do at the start of this turn? I guess we'll find out. Gets ready with that Metronome, and it's going to go for Grudge. Wants its opponent to bear a grudge. I believe that reduces the PP of a move that knocks it out, I want to say. I've completely forgotten Grudge. I got Grudge and Spike confused for a moment. Here's Storm Throw from Bellossom for some neutral damage onto Escavalier. Nice critical hit there, though, bringing it down to less than half its max HP. Now it's Vileplume's turn. Is it going to get some licks in here? Goes for Wish. Wants to restore its HP in a future turn. Not a bad shout right there. That could pay dividends going forward as we continue through this Metronome battle with Escavalier. What's Escavalier going to do here? It's going to go for Attract. Great play. That's an absolute Sophie play if anyone watches Siri Battles. Let me know if you watch Siri Battles down in the comments below. And if you don't watch Siri Battles, go bloody watch them. What a great series. They're bingeable. So Bellossom is attracted to Escavalier right now and has a 50% chance of not attacking because of its love for Escavalier. Over to Accelgor, though. And Accelgor is going to go for Fake Out. That will fail because it's supposed to be used on a Pokemon's first turn in the battle. Here we see Vileplume, who's going to go for Stored Power. Hadn't had any stat boost, though, that I'm aware of. So that didn't do much damage at all. Of course, resisted heavily by Escavalier anyway. Here's the Attract taking effect on Bellossom, but it's going to ignore its feelings and go for the Metronome anyway. So what will it do? Going to go for Liquidation with increased power because of the rain onto Escavalier there. So that's a great play right there, putting Escavalier into the danger zone. Great move by Bellossom. Over to Escavalier, who's going to go for Low Kick onto Bellossom. Not quite enough to take down Bellossom. It's still in the danger zone, though. And Vileplume's wish comes true. Restores its HP back up to maximum. So Vileplume's in a fantastic position. Accelgor's in a pretty good position apart from defense drop. And it's Bellossom and Escavalier in trouble at the moment. Accelgor goes for Guillotine on Vileplume. It wanted to take out a full HP Vileplume in a single hit, and I don't blame it for trying. Purify fails from Vileplume. Here's Bellossom, though, with that love for Escavalier, still going to ignore it. Still, those feelings aren't quite strong enough to make Bellossom immobilized by love. Goes for Flamethrower. It's going to be reduced in power by the rain, but it's still going to be super effective on Accelgor there, so a great chunk of damage. Got to think if the rain hadn't have been there, that would have been absolutely detrimental to Accelgor there. Defog from Escavalier onto which Pokemon there? Onto Vileplume, I believe. Didn't disappear? Yeah, there you go. Onto Vileplume. Drops the evasiveness, so moves are more likely to hit Vileplume now. The rain has gone away, so Accelgor got very lucky taking the Flamethrower that turn and not on the next turn. Which way is this going to go? This could well go to a 2-0. And then be played for pride in the third round, I guess. But I guess we'll find out as we go through. That did not do much damage at all with that lick. Bellossom is going to go for the Metronome, though, ignoring not getting much luck on the Attract is the Escavalier team. Goes for Shell Smash. Shell Smash Bellossom, new meta. How's that going to help Bellossom going forward? That could be terrible for Escavalier and Accelgor. Maybe Vileplume and Bellossom could equalize here. I really don't know at this point. It really could go either way. I'm definitely worried for Vileplume and Bellossom. I definitely think they're struggling a little bit. Psychic Terrain from Vileplume. I really think Vileplume needs to be going on the attack here. I'm really worried that Escavalier and Accelgor are just going to go 2-0, fly straight through. Because Vileplume and Bellossom don't seem to have a lot of answers, especially for all the resistance of Escavalier, who is going to go for Mind Reader and guarantee that its next move will hit. Imagine if it gets Guillotine or Sheer Cold on Vileplume right now, who's got so much HP but just really isn't capitalizing right now. It's really struggling. Accelgor firing up, ready to go. What's it going to do here? Going to go for Anchor Shot, which is a steel-type physical move, onto Bellossom there. Beautiful animation. Takes down Bellossom quite easily because of the low HP of Bellossom. And now it's just Vileplume versus Accelgor and Escavalier. This does not look good for Vileplume. Vileplume's going to go for Bind, and it's going to land this time on Accelgor. Decent chunk of damage because of that defense drop, and that's going to damage Accelgor each turn going forward. Well, at the end of each turn. Here's Escavalier with Retaliate onto the Vileplume, and what's it going? How much damage is that going to do? It's a good chunk of damage on Vileplume, but not quite as much as you would have hoped for Escavalier there. There's the bind damage on the Accelgor there, and now it's Vileplume's got good HP, and of course the bind is definitely going to help, but it needs to do something about Accelgor or Escavalier. It needs to take one of them out. It can't be just taking damage from two opponents, although mistakes like that from Accelgor will definitely help Vileplume. Missing that roar. Here's Pluck from Vileplume, which would be neutral on Escavalier there. Escavalier still living it, still sitting pretty, going for the Metronome. Goes for Vice Grip, spelt wrong. Onto Vileplume for how much damage there? Great chunk of damage there. Bringing Vileplume down to less than half its max HP. Accelgor in the danger zone now because of the bind damage still taking effect. Vileplume has an opportunity. Both its opponents are in the danger zone, but it needs to survive against this barrage, this onslaught. Confusion from Accelgor, though. Remember, it's at -1 special attack. That's going to do a great chunk of damage, putting Vileplume in the danger zone. It's not looking good for Vileplume right now. Vileplume is very much on the ropes here, and it's still down 1-0. Goes for Drill Run on Escavalier, which is going to be neutral damage. Critical hit. It does take down Escavalier, so now it's just Accelgor and Vileplume. There's the bind damage. Vileplume just needs to survive like one more turn. 8 hit points left on Accelgor. It will definitely fall to bind if Vileplume survives the next turn. It all depends on what Accelgor goes for here. Accelgor goes for Clear Smog. Oh my word, how much damage is that going to do? It's going to clear stat changes. It doesn't do enough damage to take down Vileplume, which means the bind damage... If Vileplume doesn't knock Accelgor out itself, it's only 8 hit points. Magnetic Flux is going to fail. There's the bind damage. Vileplume and Bellossom, by a hair, have gone through to round 3. They've saved their asses and gone through to the third round of this. This is now anybody's game. Either of these teams could win. My word, this could just be a turnaround for Vileplume and Bellossom. We've seen it in the past. We've seen stranger things in Metromania. Accelgor and Escavalier got to be a little bit shaken there. Accelgor starts off with Bolt Strike, though, which is going to be resisted by the grass types on the other side, so not a great deal of damage there to Bellossom. I'd say it's a decent chunk of chip damage, though, to be honest. Any damage is better than no damage. Over to Bellossom. What will it respond with? Going to go for Poison Jab. Doesn't affect Escavalier. Bad play there. Over to Vileplume. What's on Vileplume's mind right now? Goes for Bolt Beak. It outspeeds Escavalier, but of course it's on Accelgor, so it's only going to be 70 base power. It still did a decent chunk of damage there, though, even for 70 base power. High horsepower from Escavalier onto Bellossom there. Not very effective. Would have been neutral on Vileplume. Bit of a waste there. Now, ooh, these teams, this really could go either way. I really can't predict this at this point. I don't know which way this is going to go. So, Escavalier here is going to go for Acrobatics with no item, which is going to be an incredible hit there to Vileplume. Almost half of Vileplume's max HP. This is intense right now. Here's Vileplume, though, with Sing. Going to try and put its opponent to sleep. Accelgor ignores it, does not fall asleep. Over to Bellossom, though. Bellossom's going to go for Rest. Interesting play there. It's going to rest and put itself back up to max HP, but it will be asleep for the next 2 turns, which is very, very interesting there. So Bellossom restoring its HP back up to maximum there. If it can just avoid a couple of hits there, it could be in a very advantageous position. Escavalier going to go for Retaliate. It loves using Retaliate, doesn't it? It's going to hit Bellossom for a great chunk of damage there, basically negating the rest by Bellossom there. So now Bellossom's back at the HP it was at before, maybe a little bit less. And now it's asleep for 2 turns. This does not look good for Bellossom here. Over to Accelgor. What will it do on this next turn? It's going to go for Nasty Plot. Increase its special attack by 2 stages on a base 100 special attack Pokemon. That's a dangerous Accelgor right there. Vileplume and Bellossom need to be very, very careful going forward. They should focus their attacks probably on Accelgor right now. Vileplume going to get out of dodge, go for Phantom Force, hide itself in the other world, maybe in the distortion world. I don't know where they go. Maybe he's gone Tesco, get some horse meat kebabs. Here's Sacred Sword, though, from Escavalier for a nice neutral hit there on Bellossom. This really is anybody's game right now. Accelgor and Escavalier are awaiting a Phantom Force hit from Vileplume. Accelgor goes for Frenzy Plant. Vileplume avoids it. Very, very lucky for Vileplume there. Bellossom is absolutely fast asleep. Vileplume with the Phantom Force on Accelgor for a great chunk of damage there. They are focusing on that Accelgor, which, you know, it's a +2 special attack. They kind of need to. Here's Escavalier, though, who's going to go for Simple Beam. Going to remove... This is interesting, actually. Going to remove Chlorophyll from Bellossom and give it Simple. So if it gets any stat boosts, they're going to be doubled. Any stat changes, I believe, with Simple. So very interesting play there. I wonder how that will come into effect going forward. Here's Accelgor, though, ready and raring to go on the next turn. It's going to go for Rock Polish and increase its speed. I mean, it's already the fastest thing on the field, so I consider that a wasted turn. That could be a mistake, and that could cost Accelgor dearly going forward. Here's Vileplume. What will it do with that wry smile? It's going to go for Electrify. That is going to fail. Bellossom finally wakes up from its rest, sees the world as it is now, and goes Lava Plume. Oh my word, that's going to hit everybody on the field. That's going to be super effective on Accelgor. Takes it down, doesn't take down Vileplume, but puts it in the danger zone with a burn. Escavalier, it was 4 times effective, so massive damage to that. They got rid of the +2 special attack Accelgor, though, so Vileplume and Bellossom in a great position here. Here's a Fire Lash, though, from Escavalier, which is going to be super effective on Bellossom and take it down. This is really, I don't want to say heating up because it's so cliche, but this is really heating up. Vileplume is burned, takes that burn damage. It needs to do something to Escavalier. It needs a fire type move or something, and they're coming thick and fast are these fire-type moves. So what will Vileplume do here? It is suffering with that burn, though. Goes for Payday, a physical hit, not very effective on Escavalier. That is a risky play there. I think Vileplume might survive burn damage at the end of this turn if it survives whatever Escavalier's got on its mind here. And it's going to go for Acid Spray onto Vileplume there for some neutral damage. It's not enough to knock it out, but it puts it in burn range, which means Vileplume is going to get hurt by the burn. It's going to go down. Escavalier, by the skin of its teeth, is going through with Accelgor, its partner, to the quarterfinals. That was neck and neck at the last minute. My word. For me, that was an open and shut case. Accelgor and Escavalier proving they can be a dominant force in Metromania. Of course, they showed the obvious point that Explosion or Self-Destruct is a very, very useful move that they can utilize because Escavalier, being a steel type, doesn't take a lot of damage from it, even if its partner uses it, so it's very well protected. And they were just quite dominant throughout. I mean, Vileplume and Bellossom put up a decent fight, but I didn't really have them pegged as a team that were ever going to go any further than the heats, to be honest. Like, this was a textbook Metromania match. This went the exact way I thought it was going to go. And, like, that didn't take away from the action. It was very, very exciting, but it was just the conclusion that I think I and a lot of people expected to be the outcome. So Escavalier and Accelgor go through to the quarterfinals, but there's one place left in the quarterfinals, and we need to find out who's joining Escavalier and Accelgor there. Is it going to be Slurpuff and Aromatisse, or is it going to be Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan? Find out next week by tuning into bloody Metromania. It's every Thursday. It's really easy. So that'll do it for another episode of Metromania. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Share this video with a friend. If you want to support the channel like these lovely people down here do, pledge to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/AceTrainLiam. And, of course, use code ACE to save yourself some money on G Fuel. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.